bad shooting night or good defense by Texas? Do you attribute that to?
I'm not sure it was either. They did a good job. I mean, they did what I told you they were going to do when we had media day. They were going to switch defenses and try to keep you off balance. I have always thought, doing this as long as I've done this, when you miss easy shots and when you can't make a free throw, you're not mentally into what you're doing. And we weren't mentally into what we were doing. I mean, I just stopped practice yesterday because we weren't, it wasn't going to help any. And we weren't doing anything other than creating more bad habits. So, and then we came in today and went over what we missed yesterday because they weren't into it, and we just weren't into it.
What was your message to the team after the game?
It's a long one.
Bob, you mentioned yesterday that Felix just doesn't miss against you. He was quiet-ish for most of the game and rose up there at the end. I guess not surprising you based on your reputation of him.
He's always played well against us. I don't know. I mean, you can go back to answer your question. What I talked to him about was, I think your attitude has such an unbelievable effect on life. People with bad attitudes generally aren't very successful. People with bad attitudes end up serving time, right? You know, people who are unenthusiastic generally don't advance in their chosen profession if they have one. And, you know, I think life is about attitude. You know, it's Charles Swindoll who says, you know, it can destroy a church, a family, a company. Your attitude has such an effect, and that's what I talked to him about. But I kind of talked to him about it, you know, for a while. I got a real nice deal I got from the New York Knicks, a quote from Pete Newell. And I read that to him, and I tried to explain to him what he was trying to say. And, you know, Pete Newell was one of the greatest coaches of all time. I've read the Charles Swindoll quote, which I think is one of the great quotes of all time. We have it hanging up in our locker room, and most of them never read it before I read it to them. But that's what I talked to him about, you know. It's basketball probably more than almost any other sport, I guess. You have to rely on your teammates. You know, you can't do it by yourself. And when you can have bad attitude, but you ought to play golf or tennis, then it's just you. You know, and you don't affect other people. So that's what I talked to him about. I didn't mean not to answer your question, but it was very long. Mike, what were you now?
I'm trying to remember, man.
It's about.
Felix didn't surprise you, I'm guessing.
No, I mean, but it wasn't that, Mike. I mean, you can't start the game 1 for 9 from the free throw line, and you can't, you know, shoot wide open shots and not. I mean, we shot in the first half 3 or 4 wide open shots that didn't hit the rim. They're about, you know, they were wide left. That's hard. I mean, I could go out there, and I'm an old man. I'm 62 years old, and I swear to you, I could go out there and shoot 1,000 shots if my shoulder would hold up, and I'm never going to miss 1 2 feet left. And there wasn't anybody around them. It wasn't like they got pressured into it. We just... You know, it's what they say, the mental is to the physical like 9 to 1. We just mentally, we were not in it. I don't know why. It's been creeping in, you know. It's one of those, they foul in practice, you tell them foul, they want to argue with it. It wasn't a foul. But then the same thing happens in the game. And they still want to argue with it, but it's still a foul. You know, call timeout to run a set where we're supposed to down screen and post. We don't down screen. We stand there, catch the ball, and shoot a set shot from 18 feet that doesn't hit the rim. That's not indicative of the way this group has been. They've been very enthusiastic. They've been very coachable, and success sometimes for people is hard to handle.
Your guard rotation, is it just a matter of getting them to need to make more shots, or is there more that you want to see from them?
I'd like for him, when I call timeout, I'd like for him to run what I ask him to run. That'd help. Then at least I can say it's my fault. Justin, when you're not mentally into it, everything's hard, man. Everything's hard. Sometimes you have a guy, you know, that'll carry you through that. We don't have one. You know, Van Exel, you know, there were times when we really struggled, but he was so good that he could make enough shots that we could survive. We weren't any good, but we survived. We had plenty of opportunities if we make a shot, you know, make a shot here and there. I thought we tied the game. I thought maybe, and then we go down and the shot clock's running down, and you know, I mean, if you were ever in practice, I mean, I must say 1,000 times a practice, if he's right-handed, don't let him go right. And we let him go right and foul him with the shot clock running down. Actually, probably just got it off just ahead of the shot clock. Why? I don't know. I mean, it's just... We did so many things that are, we have a white line in the middle of the floor that you know, if the ball's on the right side, the guys on the left got to be on that white line, and vice versa. So we down a ball screen. Devin's doing what he's supposed to do. His guy rolls under the basket. Those guys are supposed to absorb him. Whose guys are standing on the other side, and they're standing over there beside their guys. And we spend an enormous amount of time getting to that white line. That's not a physical thing, man. That's a mental thing. We've got 8 seconds. We've got 8 seconds spent on the shot clock. It's at 22 seconds, and 2 times the same guy stands behind his guy, and they throw it across and beat the time. That's 2 more possessions for us. And we talk every single day and work every single day on being on the line, up the line. That's not a hard physical thing to do. So why don't they do it? It's a mental thing.
Coaches sometimes don't like to hear about using up energy, but you say you didn't have a lot of energy tonight and enthusiasm. You just played number 1, 2 teams in the country, and, you know, obviously used up an awful lot. I'm not sure energy is a finite asset in you. You think they could have left the game on the road there?
Well, Bob, they had all day Sunday off. We purposely didn't practice until 6 o'clock in the evening on Monday. I honestly, I don't think it's a physical thing at all. I think it's a mental thing. I mean, here's, and Bob, this is what I said to them. Here's what I don't understand. This has been, and I've told you this has been a really good group in terms of commitment and working hard and being enthusiastic. Why would you get up and run at 6 o'clock in the morning all summer long? Voluntarily, I might add, voluntarily, and I honestly mean that. It's a voluntary thing, and as a team, get up and run at 6 o'clock in the morning, so you run before the heat, and then not take advantage of that, not take advantage of that conditioning, not take advantage of what all the work that you put in. Why would you do that? Now, the mental part of it. Honestly, I don't think it's physical. I think it is mental. I mean, were we, mentally not into it? I mean, did we think that maybe we're just going to show up and win? As much as you tell them that's not going to happen, particularly in this league. I mean, they just sat last night and watched Oklahoma State pound Kansas. That shouldn't have registered. I would think it would, but obviously it didn't.
It's even mental energy that, again, to produce what they did in the last few games.
I think it's 100% mental, but I don't know energy. I think mental affects your energy, sure. Yeah. But you and these guys do, they from the time the season ended a year ago, they were in the gym. I didn't have to tell them to be in the gym. They were in the gym. They were all, they had open gym. They played every day. Why would you work so hard to get to where you were and then just, I told them, it wasn't like this was yesterday too now. I mean, they were horrible. And they wanted to argue about, oh, that wasn't a foul. Yes, it was a foul. It wasn't a foul. Okay, fine, whatever. Get out of here, man. Just go home. Can't coach, you go home. That's mental, Bob. That's got nothing to do with effort or energy or anything like that. It's just I've done this a long time, as you know, and I don't know why it happens. But I try to make sure I don't come in like that. And I'm very fortunate. I got a great staff, guys, experience and all that stuff that do a lot that help me, but they got pretty good teammates that help them too, and I don't know. I think it's mental. I think it's 100% mental, and you give Texas a lot of credit. They we made a run at them and tied the game, and they went down and ran off 5.
Was that arguing that part of the game tonight, the frustration level, or did you see that as a problem, a continuation of what you said happened in practice the last day or two?
When you foul a guy and the referee calls a foul, it's a foul. So, I mean, why is it a debate? I don't understand. Maybe you understand. I don't understand. And the bad part is, you put your teammates in a bad spot. We basically have had a 9-man rotation. Brandon, trying to come back, and Tavon's lost. So we basically had a 9-man rotation. Well, if a couple of them don't play,